Silver is up to $59, folks. It's about to break 60 probably today. This is uncharted, unprecedented waters. Bo's been talking about this for a very long time, along with 𝗬𝗏 as well. So we're going to hit all of this today. Where is this going? And the time is here, folks. You got to get your silver and gold. Folks, hit the notification button. Hit the notification button. Venmo is �D-Rod1977, �D-Rod1977. When the lights go out on Amazon, please leave an honest review. Also, the Mexican Mix, my mama's book, please leave an honest review on that as well. And folks, I got to tell you, man, Ringside with Nino is this Wednesday. We're going to war game everything. There's a lot of information that I'm going to give out on this particular Ringside with Nino. It's going to be Wednesday the 10th, 5 p.m. All annuals are 50% off. Still, we're going into the Christmas holidays with this sale. I decided to keep it going. So 50% off all annuals right now at ninoscorner.tv. Get over there and get started. You won't regret it. We're the news before the news, over the target consistently. X is Nino Boxer. PatriotWear.com right there, Bing. Get yourself some Patriot wear. Also, folks, Noble Gold, obviously, look at this. Look what's happening right now. This is absolute insanity. Silver at $59. Folks, get started. You got to get started on this. $59.01, probably going to hit 60 today. As we wrap up 2025, one thing is clear. Uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't the plan. It's a gamble. Absolute gamble. That's why Noble Gold Investments helps Americans protect what they built with real gold and silver that hold value when everything else feels uncertain. If you got silver and gold, good for you. I'm glad you got it. So this holiday season, remember, the best gift you can give to your family isn't under the tree. It's peace of mind, baby. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. Noblegoldinvestments.com. Get over there. No time like now, folks. It's not that gold and silver are just astronomically raising in price. It's because the dollar's losing its friggin' value. The dollar's tanking. That's what's happening. And that's why all of this, where we're headed, Babylon is falling. 𝗶𝗀𝗀 going to get into that today. Let me hit some articles before I bring 𝗶𝗀𝗀 on and just give you kind of the temperature of what's going on in the world right now. But first, ninoscorner.tv, John Pounders and Jamie Walden are coming on, talking about the symbology that's being erected around Washington, D.C., around the world, these arcs. John Pounders and Jamie Walden are going to join me today right after this show. We're rolling into it, and I'll probably put that on YouTube. But interesting stuff. I got Ivan Raiklin coming on, talking about the fracturing of MAGA, the pipe bomber. Ivan Raiklin, very controversial figure joining my show. The Ghost is up on ninoscorner.tv right now. Very interesting podcast talking about the next pandemic. Yes, it's a card they're going to play. Also, Chris Connor. Now, this guy, I don't know what to think about this guy. I'm going to let you all decide on this one. Very, got to wear your tinfoil hat on this one, okay? I always give a warning before certain guests. This one, you got to wear your tinfoil hat. It's up to you to believe this guy. He says he was a super soldier. I've had a lot of people request him. So I'm going to bring him on and hear his story. All right. I mean, you don't know. You never know. This world is crazy. And I don't know. Maybe he's telling the truth. And I think regardless, it's going to be a very entertaining, power-packed podcast. Also, Juanito, can you hear me? Juanito will be on the General's Tent this month on ninoscorner.tv. Folks, annuals 50% off. Go to the General's Tent, and it's 50% off annuals right now. And you get yourself some gear. I got some books to sign and send out to the General's Tent members. You get a free When the Lights Go Out, and I'll sign it, and I'm sending that off. I'm getting some more books in probably in the next couple days, so I'll be sending them off soon. And yes, I did go to my P.O. box and got a lot of boxes to unpack, so that's going to be pretty crazy. I always look forward to that. It's Christmas every day at my P.O. box and my mailing address. All right, folks, you might want to turn it down or turn it up, baby. Here we go. Ooh, man, this is going to be a hot week. Candace Owens, TP USA, the whole thing, Nick Fuentes. I'll be talking about it all right now. Here we go, baby. 3, 2, 1. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, folks. Yeah. It's getting hot. MAGA is divided, folks. It's getting crazy. And everybody's jumping in like tag team wrestling, attacking Candace, attacking TP USA. For me personally, I've drawn the line in the sand. I'm taking the side of Candace Owens. It's not that I don't like TP USA. I just think there's so much controversy surrounding it. It's not the same anymore. I don't like, look, okay, she's the mourning widow, David. You should feel sorry for her. She's mourning. Look, the Osbournes, when Ozzy Osbourne died, they're mourning, right? Getting right out there and talking about how you're so excited about what's coming for TP USA 48 hours after Charlie Kirk's death. I don't know. It makes me I got a kind of a weird feeling with that. Now, I'm not saying she's implicated at all. Some of you think that. A lot of you believe that. I don't. I think she's. I'm not going that. I'm not going full. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying Candace Owens is raising the questions everyone else should be raising, and I commend her for that. Now, if you want to attack her for just simply raising questions, that's on you. And I understand the whole thing that's going on right now. Hey, I think she has to do it. I think she has to debate him. I think she needs to go on stage and make her presence known. She's been yelling and screaming for this for a very long time. Put up or shut up. You got to do it. And I know, yeah, your life could be at risk, no doubt. But I'm sorry, I don't see any way out of this. You got to show up. It's, meet me behind the saloon at high noon, that type of thing. You've been calling for this. You've been barking up that tree, and you got it. Now, I know they sent you the invitation late, midnight. I don't know all the minutia and details behind that, but challenge needs to be accepted. I'm just saying that right now, Candace. You got to do it. And we're all behind you, and the world will be watching. So let's see how this transpires. That's developing. Situations are boiling over. That could be the reason for Trump to declare a national emergency, along with certain events that can take place that will propel us into that. This has to go military. We all know this. It's coming. I promise you it's coming. I talked to enough people behind the scenes. I got my fingers on the pulse, folks. I know a lot of things that I don't divulge out here on YouTube. And I'll try to do a lot of them on Ringside with Nino on Wednesday. I'll try to tell you a lot of stuff that I'm hearing behind the scenes. So the Democrats are mad that Hegseth gave the order to kill narco-terrorists running drugs into our country. They're mad about that. How dare you kill these people? They're just innocent little people running drugs. What are you doing? You can't make this shit up. You really can't make this shit up. They are moving to impeach Hegseth over his decision to destroy and kill narco-terrorists, okay? That's what we're dealing with. They want everyone on fentanyl in America. They love Skid Row. They love seeing that. They want everyone to pitch a tent and suck off the government's tit. Don't you know that? Don't you know? That's what they're aiming for, folks. So how dare you destroy narco-terrorists? They're bringing the drugs into this country, mister. Essentially, they're using lawfare now to stall and hopefully halt the attack of Venezuela and Maduro. That's what's going on. I would call that treason. That's what I would call it. But things to be on the lookout for as we head into the year of 2026. Things we could be looking out for. Well, strikes on Venezuela are imminent, as well as some military action that could happen in Colombia and Africa. So keep that in mind. Africa has entered the building. Lots of minerals there, but they have Chris Boot. I'm sure if they didn't have the minerals there, we wouldn't really care about the. But we need the reason to get the people behind us, the public behind us, to go into Africa as well. Yeah, Christian genocide. We could throw that out there. So a national emergency is looking to be declared. Remember, we're always about 6 months ahead of the ball on Nino's Corner. If you're wondering, well, that hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet, David. It's coming. It's all coming. It's all coming. Like Tuesday follows Monday. A national emergency declared, executive order regarding safe and secure elections in-person paper ballots. I think Dallas, Texas is already on their way to do this. Ukraine war ending and more indictments and potential arrests. Yeah, I'm still saying it. I'm that guy. Yep, potential arrests. Also, we're going to be talking about it today with Bo, the economy, folks. The economy. What's going to happen? We're going to make that big transition. Big transition. Not to mention ramping up troop deployment. We will see monumental shifts like silver rocketing to the moon, which it did today. It did today, $59 for silver. That's insane. Trump has fenced up the Treasury as a symbolic maneuver to show that he is going to war with the Federal Reserve. And we could see Jerome Powell take a step down very, very soon, by the way. So the TPUSA challenge to Candace Owens is uncovered. Someone put this up on my X. They only gave her 24 hours to respond, but sent their invite in the middle of the night. Oh, boy. This sounds like boxing to me, like promoters in boxing. Leaving her less than 24 hours to make plans, which is an impossible task. She is ready and willing and offered to meet them with them at their appointed time via Zoom, but they refused. So now it's on them. I guess you could say the ball is in their court. Now, it's probably still developing. I don't know what else is going on, but look, it seems to me like she's going to accept the challenge. If she wants to do it Zoom, I don't blame her. Unless she's going to show up with like a fucking bulletproof vest and bulletproof glass. But, you know, like I said, this is a very monumental, important time in history, and she's been yelling and screaming and barking for this. She's got to do it. And folks, if I had to draw a line in the sand, I'm going with Candace on this one. TPUSA is not what it used to be. I don't know how many individuals. I'm not saying the whole organization is compromised. They were all in on it. But maybe for such an organized, engineered hit, maybe a handful of people were compromised. Maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe 4 people, maybe 5 turned their head at the right time. I don't know. I'm not doing the Candace Owens things, but it doesn't smell right. And when something doesn't smell right, it really most likely means someone farted, okay? Just saying. So Admiral denied Hegseth. Well, first of all, replaced. Let's get into some of the replacements. General Anthony Cotton will relinquish command of USS Stratcom to Admiral Richard Correll. See, they're trying to put the right people in place before these Venezuelan strikes begin. They're trying to get all their ducks in a row, so that's what's happening right now, if you're wondering. Handing over responsibility for global strategic deterrence and more than 40,000 war fighters who keep the nation's nuclear triad. Always be ready. So that's people are stepping. Remember I said this. A lot of people are going to be stepping down, not just in the military, but in Congress. Ooh, they're going to get sick. Some people are going to get sick. Oh, it's life or death for me. You know, I've always called out Marjorie Taylor Greene. I saw her coming miles away. You know, at the same time I was calling out Ron Deep State DeSantis, I was also calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene. I was doing it before anybody was. Before anybody. And I was right. And I'm right about her. And guess who else? More to come. More to come. Admiral denied Hegseth gave kill everybody order in briefing to lawmakers. Navy Admiral Frank Bradley, the commander who oversaw the September 2nd strikes on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean, denied that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered his subordinates to kill everybody aboard the vessel during briefings to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. The denial follows a report from the Washington Post last week that the Pentagon chief gave a spoken directive to kill everybody. ahead of the U.S. military's September 2nd attack against an alleged drug smuggling vessel in the Caribbean, an operation where 11 narco-terrorists were killed. These are people that are sending deadly drugs into America, killing hundreds and thousands of people a year. And you're worried about killing them? Talk about ass backwards values, Democrats. This is what they're complaining about. You can't make this shit up. And then there's articles coming out right now, and I got to read one of them. Why Trump should fire Hegseth over Signalgate gaffe. So, they're going to give all these reasons on why. So they're really going after not just Trump, but Hegseth now. Now he's in the line of fire. So President Donald Trump is facing growing pressure to make Pete Hegseth the first major casualty of his second term after the Pentagon chief was accused of putting his own troops in danger. A damning report on the Signalgate scandal reportedly laid the blame on Hegseth for compromising sensitive war plans. They're going after Hegseth guns blazing. Why? Because he's a threat. He summoned all the generals. He told them what he expects from them. They don't like them. They control MSN. They control all the media. So they're going to make sure they're going to try to warp and change and mold the public opinion about Hegseth and try to impeach him. Congress, the media, the whole thing. This is the only plays they have left, folks, and it's not much. Democrats are demanding that he face war crime charges for allegedly demanding that everyone aboard a targeted narco-terrorist boat in the Caribbean be wiped out. A first U.S. strike on the vessel on September 2nd left 2 survivors who were then killed by a second missile. Both Trump and Hegseth have sought to distance themselves from the backlash and to put the responsibility on Admiral Frank M. Bradley, the commander who carried out the operation, posting a poor taste meme over the weekend depicting a cartoon turtle, Franklin. Oh, boy. From a children's book, opening fire from a helicopter with a rocket launcher on a cargo vessel, inviting Elon Musk to a classified Pentagon meeting briefing in March about plans for a possible war with China, infuriating allies by appearing to favor Russia in the war against Ukraine during his first official visit to Europe in February, threatening to force Democrat lawmaker Mark Kelly, a former Navy pilot, back into service for court-martial after he appeared in a video urging service members not to follow unlawful orders. Kicking out all traditional media from the Pentagon press room, including his former employer, Fox News, after they refused to sign a pledge that they wouldn't publish any unapproved information. Demanding his generals fly in from around the world to assemble in Quantico for a September lecture on what it takes to be a soldier, being clean-shaven, trim, and maintaining warrior ethos. Oh, yeah, there it is, Franklin. There it is, folks. Take a nice look at that. I love it. House Democrats announce articles of impeachment against Hegseth. Oh, boy, here we go again. Thursday, they announced they will file articles of impeachment against Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who is the center of 2 scandals at the Defense Department. The secretary has to go. Theander told Fox News host Josh Breslow he's incompetent. He's, violated. He has committed war crimes. He must go. See, folks, these are the people we're up against. They want drugs coming into this country. I mean, what? So, in other words, let's use common sense here. This is the real war on drugs. We kill some of their narco terrorists who tirelessly, day by day, hour by hour, send drugs to America. We finally off these individuals who are killing hundreds and thousands of people, your children, that get stuff laced all the time. We finally killed 2 of them, just 2 of them, 2 of the narco terrorists, the 2 survivors that got back on the boat. And they want to impeach Hegseth for this. Sorry, folks. This is the war on drugs. This is what it really is supposed to look like. I'm going to bring in 𝗶𝗀 𝗶𝗀 taking the time to hear my spiel. I got to do that first, but thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Nino. Actually, while you talk, I just make notes.
I mean, you know, I got to do it. I got to do it. But Bo, I mean, we're now here in this juncture. We're now coming to this apex in the boomerang where now it's going to start. I think we're really going to start seeing a lot of things transpire. You've always said on many shows that, on many of my shows, that silver is going to be the marker when it passes 50. And look, it's about to pass 60.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Well, and again, you know, and it's fun, like, to see this happen. Okay. I was at a conference yesterday and, you know, so many people come up to me and it's just like, man, you know, thank you for, you know, for just steering us in the right direction, you know? So a lot of families, a lot of, you know, individuals have been, you know, we've been talking about this for several years already, you know? So a lot of people have been buying silver at 20, 30, you know, dollars, right? And so anybody who's basically picked up silver in the past years is in a huge, great position right now. Okay. Everyone, not some people, everybody is in incredibly awesome positions right now. And I like to say this too. So, you know, imagine like right now we look at the price of Bitcoin, right? It's like $90,000. Okay. So I'm not saying buy Bitcoin. What I'm saying is at some point, Bitcoin was under $1 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? At some point, Bitcoin was 50,000 or was $50. Okay. At some point, Bitcoin was $100. And what I've said forever is the financial system. Okay. They create money out of thin air. Okay. And please, these are factual statements. You know, Alex, if you want to pop this one screen up right here, this is not an opinion. Okay. This is, and all those who want to contest this, please scan this QR code. And when you look at the QR, yeah, sorry, just pop it up on the screen there. But when you look at the QR code, listen, literally if you took the 25 top nations of the world, Nino, okay, so right now the debt of the top 25 nations is 110.
Hold on, Alex still needs to get it up on the screen. You got it.
Okay, yeah, he'll get it up. But I'll just
it's not. I don't see it back here. Sorry, Bo. Can you reshare one more?
I caught it. And while you guys are doing that, let me just say this real quick, guys. Letitia James, real quick, folks. Grand jury declines to re-indict Letitia James. A grand jury declined to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James after being asked to look at the mortgage fraud case against her a second time. 10 days after a federal judge threw out the initial charges against her, according to a person familiar with the development Thursday. Another source familiar with the situation said there should be no premature celebration because the Justice Department could try to seek the indictment a third time. A Justice Department spokesperson declined to comment on grand jury matters. The grand jury was in court until noon on Thursday. So, folks, this is why I've been told things will go military, because you can't get any justice in the Justice Department. Makes sense? I hope it does, because it's all coming and a lot faster than I anticipated, because one of the markers has been broken. Silver is skyrocketing. All right, go, Bo, because this all goes together, doesn't it, Bo?
Well, that's the thing, right? So understand that silver, like we've said, please, everybody, go back to our podcasts. And, you know, it's not a matter of being right. It's about pointing people in the right direction, okay? So we've always said silver is the marker because silver is never in history, and I mean in history, ever touched $50. In 1980, it went to 49 and change. 2011, 49 and change. It's never touched $50. Okay. Silver is the people's money. Gold is the money of kings. Silver is the money of the people. Right. And so forever they've wanted their goal and their agenda is to keep the price of silver low. And so now we're getting to a point where, as Nino's saying, and what I've been saying, it's got to go military, but it's also going to go biblical. Before it goes military, I believe it's going to go biblical, and then it goes military, because who's in control of the military is the commander-in-chief. Okay. And like we've said before,
so things need to get bad before it goes military.
Well, it needs to go biblical. In other words, something has to happen. When it goes biblical, it's a one-day event. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, if you read scriptures, I'll give you some scriptures. It's Joel 2:31. It's called the great and the terrible day. Okay. It's both. So don't think it's bad. It's great. And it's the worst day in history for those fighting God, going against God, right? And so, and how have they done all this, Nino? It's just like you brought up Letitia James, okay? Ephesians says, we battle not against flesh and blood, but principality, princes of darkness. This is not a physical battle, okay? It's a spiritual battle. And who are the spiritual entities, okay? They're demonic entities that occupy Hollywood, Washington, okay, global handshakes of demonic spirits that shake the world. So this is a spiritual battle going on.
Who they're going to pawn off on us later as aliens.
Exactly. Well, actually, like I even posted just on X, just like yesterday or 2 days ago, that I honestly believe even if this event that I'm talking about, the Great and the Terrible Day, happens this month, okay, then when this happens, the next day, they're going to be blaming it on aliens, because when God intervenes, you have to understand there's one rule that the devil runs by. There is no God. Okay, that's a rule that the devil runs by, because if the devil were to ever admit that there was and is a God, then the devil's real. But then the Bible's real, and then the devil's a loser. You see what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I get what you're saying.
So because throughout all of Scripture, the devil, God calls the devil the forever loser. So if God's real, then the devil's the forever loser, and so he cannot admit that God is real. And so the devil, what they've done, they've created money out of thin air. So, like on the slide right here, we're looking at in the 70s, we were at 6 zeros. I've shown this before. I'll show it again. And the ones that want to scoff, actually, just zoom in. Let me just show you. Here's the QR code. Scan that QR code, and actually, this is actually what Grok and ChatGPT went down, and they actually answered my questions about the financial system. And you can read all the questions, and they're so simple. But basically, we went and we're now at 15 zeros. Okay, so of the national debt of 25 top nations, it's $110.9 trillion. Okay. And here's what I ask, where'd the money come from? And the answer by the ChatGPT and Grok said very simply is right here. It says the government debt of the top 25 nations. And yes, it was created out of thin air by the financial system's ability to expand credit. And no, it did not exist 50 years ago. Let that sink in. So why do you want gold and silver? Because God's about to intervene. We're not telling you to buy gold and silver. We're telling you that we personally have bought gold and silver because we know the system's a scam, a fraud, okay? It's
right.
Literal money creation out of thin air. And what have they done with the money? Well, Nino, everything you stated in the first 20 minutes, prior to me jumping on, what have they done? They're trying to indict Pete Hegseth, right? They're trying to do everything. They kicked out Letitia James and whatever, and call me, from the legal system. Hey, you guys are all fine. You did nothing wrong, right?
More exposing.
Right. And so why? Because they have secret handshakes. And there's a private club that goes on. I'm sure you've gotten the phone call years ago. Yeah. I got it as well. And they basically tell you, hey, if you join us, we got a network of people that all work together, right? And what is it? It's a demonic enterprise, and you've seen it through the boxing you've done too. If you join them, they'll give you whatever you want. Any issues you got, they'll handle every issue you got. They will take care of anything and anything you need, because there's secret handshakes that go global. So as Trump says, there's a swamp. No, it's not an U.S. swamp. It's a global swamp that basically comes out of America.
People need to understand that Trump is a wartime president.
Yes.
He came to he didn't bring an olive branch. He's bringing a sword. And, I hate to make the comparison to Christ. No, in no way am I doing that. But what I'm saying is he is a wartime president. Things are going to get really turbulent and bumpy because we need to bring down the system. And that's why they're playing in the confines of this system and we're losing. And that's why this needs to go military right there. That's why I have it on the thumbnail. This needs to go military. We're going to switch. Everything's going to switch over. Financial, everything. It's all packaged into one deal. Military will be in control when all of the shit hits the fan. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, and I will fully agree. And the only thing I will continue to scream from the rooftops is a biblical intervention where God intervenes. And the reason is because Trump is a man, okay? And there's no way he can stop these people globally. Now, let me give you the example scripturally. Remember the story of David and Goliath?
Of course.
Okay, so everybody knows the story of David and Goliath. When David threw that rock, okay, it was one rock. God made sure it struck Goliath right where it was supposed to. David threw it. God made sure where it went. Understand? God uses people. So God is using Trump to stop these people from what they're doing, okay? And so what is a throwing of the rock? It's a like Nino's saying, it's military, okay? And Goliath was standing there taunting Israel, you know, send me somebody that can even challenge me. So this is, it is military, because this is a type and shadow of Goliath standing, you know, and taunting all of Israel, and all of Israel's freaked out. And then David stepped forward, right? And then David stepped up, and what did he do? He took one rock. Actually, he took 4 or 5, I think, because he was going to take out all of his brothers too, and they all fled. But one rock took out Goliath, hit him right in the head. He dropped, and he cut his head off. Okay, understand, it was one rock controlled by God, thrown by David. Okay, and why I say that is because you said Trump is a wartime president. That's right. And when you study David, David was a wartime king. And then that's what he was not allowed. David was not allowed to build Solomon's temple. It was his son. Okay. Oh, Eric Trump. Guess who I saw yesterday? Eric Trump, you know, the Clay Clark event. So Clay Clark is speaking. Now think of the coincidence of these things. Kim Clement spoke. In the fall, you will know who my David is.
David is, right, yeah.
They've tried to assassinate him, and God's about to move. And in the fall, we're still in fall. Fall doesn't end until the 21st of December. Okay, we're still in fall. You'll know who his David is. And after the wartime president, like I've said, you're going to have another Trump in office. Okay, and it's going to be one of the sons probably, and they'll be Solomon. And they're going to be like Solomon. And this is key. You said, you know, the wealth transfer, you know, when they built the Solomon's temple, it was with unlimited money. Okay. They had more money. They knew what to do with more gold, more silver. And so this then steps us into the next era of time. And this next era is literally after the war. You then step into the most amazing 2026, like you're talking about financially, because 2026 is going to be the greatest bull market in human history, and the triggering event is silver blowing through 50.
All right, so that's happening, right? We can all see it. But then I've heard when we start right now, there's operations happening in Venezuela where there's defectors, you know, certain military generals and officers defecting, right? And I've heard there's special ops down in southern Venezuela that are taking these people in. They're gonna there's certain places in South America where I don't want to go into. I probably shouldn't go into this there, but so there's refugees coming out of Venezuela, right? They're turning on Maduro, and I guess they're clearing that out before they start the strikes. Now, when the strikes happen, I'm guessing silver is going to just go through the moon, right? So when we start hitting Venezuela, whenever this occurs, I'm anticipating before Christmas. That's just a guess. It's just a guess.
I think
you think before the 21st, probably, right?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely, you know, before because the prophecy is, you know, they fall and fall. Okay, you have to go with the prophecies too as well. You got to put all the pieces
hold on. So when we start the strikes in Venezuela, I'm hearing that the dominoes are going to go, and it just all begins.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a chaotic month because we have to still fulfill prophecy. So understand. So let's just go to understanding the time cycles and the prophecies, because we're here. Like there's so little time left between now and the end of fall. Okay. And then a few days later is Christmas, right? And the prophecy for Christmas is I will make you happy. And so we have to see a military event, but before the military event, or Is it going to go the same day? I don't know, because no one knows exactly how God's lined up all the pieces for this to go down. It's just that the time window is so small right now. And so we're waiting for something to happen. And like you said, even though you actually, right in the preamble here, you were talking about the fall of Babylon, okay? We are about to witness this. And this goes back all the way to, until Babylon falls, I'm going to say it slowly, until Babylon falls, they're going to keep releasing Letitia James. They're going to keep, releasing Comey. They're going to keep playing their game because the devil only knows one thing: kill, steal, and destroy. And they're not going to stop, okay? They will not stop. And even after God intervenes, they're still going to try to kill what God created, okay, or what God actually would be birthed. So, and what I say is, we've said before, and then so the fall of Babylon will then lead to, be the same time point for the birth of the God's move. And so Revelation 8:18 says, I saw another angel come down from heaven. With a mighty voice, he shouted, Fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, okay? That's what we're watching right now. And here it says, in one day, her plagues will overtake her. And then it says, rejoice, people of God, for her judgment, for God has judged her with the same judgment she has imposed upon you. Okay, so this is when God judges them, it flips the scale from the hunters become the hunted. Okay, and all of this ties in with specifically a birth. So if you want to, Alex, if you want to cue up the video, but Matthew 24 says, you will hear of wars, rumors of wars. Okay, so this is what Nino's talking about. And we're seeing the wars as well too. Be not deceived, the end is not yet. These are the beginnings of birth pains. So we're about to see a birth of something that has just been in the star alignment, specifically referencing Revelation 12, going back 8 years, okay? We haven't seen this, and so play the 𝗬𝗰𝗶𝗹 Alex, specifically in reference to the birth that's about to happen, because when this birth happens, they're going to try to kill it. Listen closely. They're going to try to kill this move. And there is your war that you're talking about. It's going to go military because they cannot and will not. They're pinned. They just got struck by God, and now they're going to try to kill, just like they try to kill Jesus and kill Moses. They don't want what God's about to bring on this earth, so they're going to try to kill it. And that's exactly what you're fully talking about, how this is all going to go military.
There will be a sign in the heavens. It will look, and it shall be likened unto a woman that is about to give birth, and she is in labor. For God said there is a birth taking place, and America is suffering the labor pains. America is suffering the last hours before the birth of this child. Did you not know that there would be something birthed, says the Spirit of the living God? It's about to be born. It's about to be born for this nation. A move of my Spirit that shall shake the church, that shall shake the gates of the cities, that will shake the gates of the cities. Listen to the word of the Lord. It's about to be born. Your travail must come to an end, says the Lord. Satan shall chase after you, but God said, I will give you 2 wings. I will give you the wings of eagles, so that you will be taken to a place that I have kept just for you, says the Lord. And you shall be carried to a place of safety while the enemy tries to find you, and you will not be able to find this generation, and they will not be able to destroy the child. For listen, when the child is born, he will immediately try to kill this move. When this movement is born, he will immediately try to kill it, just like they tried to kill Christ when he was born, just like they tried to kill Moses when the deliverer was about to come forth. This movement is a movement of deliverance, but I will deliver the earth from the curse. God said this, that is about to be born, is one of the holiest moves of my Spirit, and it shall be done with the most unholy people that lie alive today, says the Lord.
Remember, this happened September of 2017. The math is so perfect. So 2017, you add 8 years, new beginning, and you're at 2025.
Oh, it's definitely kicked off. We all can see it, Bo.
Yeah. So in other words, if you add 8 years and you add another 8 weeks and 8 days, it's literally today into yesterday. Okay. So we're at a moment where something's about to happen, and God's not going to reveal the day he's going to strike, but we're literally at that point in time. The other calculations we're looking at is Pentecost. Okay. So when the Holy Spirit fell upon the apostles, it was 50 days after the resurrection of Christ. Okay. So the spring feasts are fulfilled. If you add 50 days from Tabernacles, it's today. the 5th.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm saying is like this is what we call go time. Is it going to happen today, tonight, tomorrow? I don't care. We're so close to something happening here.
Everyone knows it. Everyone feels it. Everyone feels
and then
it,
we got the fall time, and then the fall prophecies, they will fall and fall. So it means Trump's going to intervene. In the fall, you'll know who God's David is. So you're going to find out it's actually Trump.
Bo, I'll be honest with you. You're the time analyst. You come up with the dates and all that stuff. I don't like to predict anything because I miss, I'm not the time predictor. I'm not the time analyst, but I will say we all know we're in the window. We all feel it. We all know it's coming down. It's not like, oh, silver's just spiking because it wants to. No, things are happening, and we all need to be ready and prepare for this and understand that this time is coming. We're in it right now. We are probably coming into the climax of the movie very soon. We're probably like right after the middle of the movie, going into the climax, and it's about to get real. And with that being said, folks, real quick, the pipe bomber. How many of you would have bet that this guy would have been white? He's black. Oh boy, I was cracking up when I saw this. FBI arrests suspect in 2021 DC pipe bomb case. I'll have Ivan Raiklin on to talk more about this very soon. Identified as a Virginia man, the Northern Virginia man was arrested and accused of placing 2 pipe bombs outside the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee headquarters on the eve of the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021. Federal authorities, I don't know, Alex, if you could find a picture of this guy and just put it up real quick. Federal authorities announced Thursday, Attorney General Pam Bondi identified the suspect as Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old from Woodbridge, Virginia, located just outside Washington, D.C. Cole was charged with the use of an explosive device. Bondi said, adding that more charges were possible in the investigation, which was still active and ongoing. He's the first suspect arrested in the years-long pipe bomb investigation. Cole lives with his mother, probably in the basement, and other family members in Woodbridge and works in a bail bondsman's office. Are you kidding me? An FBI agent said in court documents the school district for Prince William County, Virginia, which includes Woodbridge, confirmed to CBS News that Cole graduated from high school in 2013. There he is. He looks like a pipe bomber. Not much of a pipe layer, but a pipe bomber. Cole was arrested early Thursday morning, and investigations were still executed search warrants in the afternoon. Bondi told reporters during a news conference. An unidentified FBI agent said in a probable cause affidavit filed Wednesday that Cole allegedly bought multiple items in 2019 and 2020 that were consistent with the components used to make the pipe bombs, folks. So there you go. There's your pipe bomber. Oh, boy. All right. And also, folks, the Somalian fraud investigation targets Tim Walz. Ilhan Omar's story falls apart on air. 𝗀𝗏 from Brightcore. Health starts in the gut. Oh, boy. I'm reading a commercial here. That was my mid-roll, and I messed up. Anyway, the Somalian fraud investigation targets Tim Walz. And if you saw this, folks, Tim Walz, people are driving by Tim Walz's house, yelling out the R word, which means to Tim Walz, and he's not taking it very well, folks. It's actually quite funny. All right, Bo, go ahead. Take it over from here. Sorry. Got to read some articles while I'm doing this.
Well, again, this is, it's fun to speak with you because right behind you, it's Nito's corner, and these people are being squeezed right now.
They're in the corner.
They're in the corner. We've said it before, but every week and every month it's gotten worse and worse. And right now they are totally freaking out for everything that's happening with them. And again, I've always said it's just like, when is this going to happen? And whether it's today, tomorrow, this weekend, the key here is we are in a window, like Nino's saying, okay? God's not going to give us the exact day this is going to go down, but when it happens, we'll be able to go and see exactly how this played out mathematically. But the math itself is screaming that this is a critical mass time point. We're at 50 days from tabernacles, okay? How do we know that things are about to blow? Because the prophecy was like this, okay? Silver is going to explode. It's going to go through $50. Check. The next thing was when it goes through 50, it's going to back off, back down. Check. It went to $47. Okay. And then the second part of the prophecy was, well, the third part was after that, it's going to come back up, and everybody thought it was going to crash. No, it didn't. It came back up. And as we speak, okay, earlier it was $59. As we speak right now, the price specifically is $58.53. Okay. So this is what's happening. It's back up above through 54, and it's actually at 58 right now. All that has to happen, there's only one thing left on this prophecy. The roof gets ripped off of silver with a volcanic eruption in a national park. It's going to tie in with that. Okay.
Whoa. You really believe this is going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's either it could be Yellowstone
spikes. Is that what you're saying? That there's going to be a volcanic eruption?
Yes. Yeah, and that'll tie in with
your rear end. You're not just pulling that out of your rear end. You really see a volcanic eruption happening in a national park in America?
Okay, that we don't know. The word was it will be a volcanic eruption. Let's got to listen to I can't add to the word. The word was it'll be an eruption in a national park. That's it. Okay, so there is another prophecy from another prophet that's something about it could be Vesuvius blowing again. So that's I believe that's a national park.
I mean, the reason I asked this is because this makes a lot of sense. So, like a lot of people that are on Nino'sCorner.tv, you know what I'm talking about here. You put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? So, with what Bo's saying, you take this piece of the puzzle, you take what 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 said on my other podcast, you also put that piece together with this. It forms a piece of the puzzle. What did 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 said? That the planet is getting bombarded by gamma rays, which can cause earthquakes and volcanic activity. Now, I put those together, and it makes a nice fit. And that's why I bring it up, Bo. So, damn. Okay, so you really, prophecy and science here were working together.
Well, exactly, because God creates the science, right? So
right,
he's gonna set up everything that we're watching right now. So he's gonna make sure that the planet is doing exactly what God wants the planet to be doing right now. So that's why you're going to be seeing these volcanoes. And I think there's a whole bunch of them popping off right now already, okay? But the one in the national park is going to be the trigger for the silver explosion, okay? So when you look at this chart here, okay, just from a charting perspective, I just sent another video to Alex if you want to cue that one up, because it will talk about the eruptions. But what I want on this chart as we're looking right here, what I want the viewers to see, this is a 45 to 50 year chart, okay? This is not like a near-term chart, okay? This is 45 years of silver history, okay? And so what happened was it's called a cup, and then there's a handle here, okay? So just give you the visual. Here, this is a chart pattern. Can you see that? You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand this, okay? When it breaks right here, the handle, it just goes up and it never looks back. Are you with me, Nino? It's that simple.
I'm looking.
Breaks the handle, never looks back, okay? So here is a 50-year chart on silver. So $49. 1980, $49, 2011. Boom, here's your handle. It broke through the handle here in September, October, okay? And that's why it's been accelerating, because look what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be accelerating. See, it's accelerating right here. It's going faster, vertical. Okay, so it's accelerating. And right now you're seeing the price accelerate. Next target here is actually $69. And that could be like today. That could be tomorrow. I mean, like the next
Not
week.
hard to believe. 69.
It moved $9, Nino, and it moved $8 to $9, okay, in the past 6 trading days. Okay, so to say it's going to move, it can move 10 more dollars. It's a no-brainer. Okay, and what I'm saying is this: when it goes from here, it blows. So right now, this chart is from November 28th. Okay, the point is right now, today's the 5th. It's already at $58. Okay, so it's $5.
It was just at 59.
Yeah. So it's literally, you know, it's almost at 60. And could it move $9-10 more dollars? Absolutely, right. And this is the volcanic eruption. Go ahead.
What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin tanked.
Yes, but if those who have my newsletter, okay, again, I don't want glory for this, okay, but those who have my newsletter for a fact knew that there's 700,000 views on my video that I did with a friend of mine, 𝗀𝗂𝗃𝗧, back in November of 2022, and I said Bitcoin bottomed right there, okay? We nailed the bottom on Bitcoin, okay? I don't need glory, but there's 700,000 views in that video to prove that I did it, okay? And then I said Bitcoin's got an upcycle into the fall time of 2025, okay? And so Bitcoin topped on October 6th. And those are my newsletter. We dumped everything, okay? We dumped everything. And so we knew it was going to tank. And then we actually, to be honest, but I'm going to give your viewers a freebie here. An upcycle is going to start here really soon, okay? We got back in. And so the crash that everybody was freaking out about, we literally knew it was coming 2 years ago. Okay, so these cycles you can predict. So I say cycles precede events. So the cycle, like I'm telling you, see the cycle chart? Silver's going to go to $69. Okay, I don't know the event, Nino, but I know it's going to be there 1,000%. Whether it's today or next week or 2 weeks from now, I don't care. The chart and this cycle will be proven 1,000% correct. And then silver is going to go to 3 digits. And I, again, with Nino, will be proven 1,000% correct. Not almost. No. We're going to be 1,000% right because I know what the Lord showed me with what's coming. Okay. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you don't need to trade this. Just be on the right side of history. Do what Nino's done. He talks about owning gold and silver. You can own gold, but guess what? Silver is going to outperform gold right now, okay?
Right,
it's accelerating. So right now, as you're speaking, silver is up maybe 2% on the day, while gold is up maybe 0.5%, okay? So gold's going to go up. But silver right now, because it's in a bull market and it finally broke vertical, it's called gold on steroids, okay? And so the volcanic eruption is the event that's going to at least shoot this thing to $70 or to $100. I don't know, okay? But play the video, and I'm just telling you, it's not an opinion. When God speaks through his prophets, it's going to happen. God won't put a time window on it, but he basically puts people like myself on this earth to calculate time, and the time calculations are screwed. And now we're above 50. So it went up, came back down, and now it's higher. It's at $59. So all that's left is the price explosion. And I don't care what anybody says, because the price explosion is going to happen, okay? Whether it's today or next week or whatever, it's going to happen because nobody can stop it. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen before winter begins, because fall is through the 21st. Okay. So something big's about to happen. You got the FOMC making an announcement on the 10th. So, something huge about to happen.
I've also been told, I don't have any validation in this. I've just been told by a couple of people that December 19th could be a big day.
Well,
do you have any intel on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'll show you the calculations that I'm looking at here. As what you're looking at is right now, we're looking at 10 days. So it depends on when God strikes. God's going to strike. We're going to see silver explode. There's a date coming up here, specifically on the 14th. 14th is a huge date biblically because that ties in with biblical math. And specifically, how we talked about September 24th, the 24th, okay? This is fasting. The Lord revealed to me just the other day. So I'm glad you asked this question, but let me show you this. So we've said forever, hey, and you know how all those videos that were out, hey, September, something huge is going to happen, and then like a nothing burger. So, we all thought something could happen, but see how God operates? He hides things in a mystery. Okay. So understand, if you use the Hebrew calendar, okay, September 24th was Kislev 24. It's the 9th month, 24th day. It's right here. Kislev 24. So right here, you can look. This is September 24th, right here. Kislev 24. Okay. And the calculation on that is, here it is, the 14th of December.
All right.
Okay. So again, I don't know what that means, but I'm telling you, we know God's going to intervene. I don't know exactly the day because he's not going to tell us, but I keep doing the math calculations and all of them are screaming, holy mackerel, are we at go time? You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that. It is go time. Everyone says that. In fact, I know people right now that I talk to, and people, you know, I know a defense contractor. I talked to Juanito. I talked to the Ghost. I talked to a lot of people. 𝗀𝗃𝗁𝗂𝗁𝐺, SG Anon. It's go time, folks, and it's about to go down. So
right, and then and remember the Kim
certain days or times. This is your specialty, not
yeah.
mine.
And exactly, and a lot of the days like are fun to calculate, right? Like when you look at the revelation, when we saw the Great North American Eclipse, right? The Great North American Eclipse, if you add 555 days, oh, what a coincidence! Literal peace treaty with Israel to the exact day. Like, what the heck? Like, you see what I'm saying? All of this is by design. You look at the Great North American Eclipse, you add 7 months, oh, Trump wins the election. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
Like these are all signs that God gives us. And then Alex, if you want to cue up the video, because the 𝗀𝗂𝗶𝗹 prophecy talked about the 2 E's, earthquakes and eruptions.
All right, go ahead, Alex. Cue up the video.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Actually, no. Go ahead and play as another video link I just sent you. If you can play that one. So Alex, go ahead and speak. I mean, Nino, go ahead. You had said you wanted to say something, Nino. Go ahead.
Was this the one you were going to play right here, Bo?
Yeah, it's a second. Yeah, the second one. Yeah, that's the one. If you got it.
I will expose, I will reveal, for you have entered into a time and a season of undercover, where I will bring out from the covers the truth. For there have been too many lies, one lie after the other, covered in high national positions. There are 2 E's that I see. One E is the word erupt. The other is earthquake. A volcano as a sign.
Look at the super volcanoes in the world. It will be unexpected, but I will be merciful, as I always am. The volcano will erupt, and this will signal an eruption to the evil. As the molten fire pours up and out of my earth, this will be another sign of my cleansing. The call will go out, and then it will blow, and you will see the eruption of my great wealth transfer. Yes, it will be the volcano that will blow, fast and furious, with sudden explosion. Once it erupts, there will be no stopping the flow of my great wealth transfer. Watch for the volcano. The stack will come off of my volcano very soon, and your stacks will explode, and you will receive a very great harvest. And you will receive a very great harvest.
And then there will be another earthquake, says the Lord. Keep your eyes open, for this sign is to cause the earth to yield of its produce, that the great E may come forth rapidly. I am summer. I bring smiles. I bring sunshine. I bring warmth. Yet there is a tumultuous rendering that is coming. I stand to protect spring, but fall, you are rebelling. Or is it that possibly the Spirit of God will cause many to fall in fall?
So expect the arrest and the tribunals. The fall will cause the fall of many.
And I will start from the top. I have shaken the Democrats and will shake the Republicans even more. Strange July, strange July. Hypnotic November. And oh, Christmas, where winter shall say, and me, I will make them happy. For God says, I have chosen each season to manifest something. My will shall be done, and it shall come to pass.
This nation shall be cleansed like my land after a good rain. I am cleansing the USA and all of my world. My storm is coming through man, through arrest, indictments, drug bust of cartels, and tribunals and executions. It is all coming to a theater near you, right on your very own TV.
Well, so this volcano will signal the blessing that's coming from God, correct?
Yes. So it's
unless you live around the vicinity of the volcano, you're fucked.
Well,
I mean,
yes and no.
If you're next to a volcano, I'd move.
Well, yes, obviously there will be casualties, but the Lord also said he's a merciful God and he will contain the eruption. Okay. So just because it blows in a national park, it doesn't mean it's going to go, it'll be a national park in an eruption, but it will be contained because God's merciful, and that is prophecy. Okay. So yes, there will be casualties. Okay, that's just and that's just the way it goes. But I'm just giving you prophecy because, you know, we can all have our opinion,
But when the Lord speaks through his prophets, okay, he does nothing first before first revealing his secrets through his servants. Okay, so what you heard there was God's servants, God speaking through them. You don't have to believe, but it will happen because these are the Lord's servants. These events will happen. And we know, you know, the 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗹 prophecies, okay? Well, 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗹 was, you know, you've heard of him. He prophesied Trump would have 2 terms. Oh, check and check, right? And so everything that he's prophesied has happened so far. It doesn't mean that
no third term, no third term.
Well, it'll be a Trump in the 3rd term, but I don't think it'll be Donald. It'll be one of his. It'll be a Trump, but not the.
You think
Trump.
It'll be J.D. Vance? I mean, that kind of.
No, it's got to be a Trump. It has to be a Trump because Trump. The name Trump sounds the trumpet for the return of Christ. That's prophecy. So you can't have a J.D. Vance in office sounding the trumpet for the return of Christ in the future, right? So it'll be the Trump lineage that's going to be in office for this, you know. So in other words, that's just basically how I would perceive the prophecy, because I don't think JD Vance would fit that prophecy.
I'm with you on that, actually. But folks, we're going to take super chats right now.
Actually, one thing, you know, I just want to say one thing about the hypnotic November. Okay, so again, they removed from the calendar, just so the viewers understand, because we heard a couple of prophecies there. Okay, we said this before. Okay, Pope Gregory removed 10 days out of the calendar, literally just gone, as in gone, just removed them in 1582. This moved us from the Julian calendar, which was used when Christ walked the earth, to what's called, as you and I talking about, the Gregorian calendar. Okay, today the Gregorian calendar is 13 days behind. Okay, so that's where the math is right now. So we are still in hypnotic November. God has spoken through several prophets that the hypnotic November prophecy is still to manifest. Hypnotic November doesn't end until December 13th Gregorian. Remember, it's 13 days off.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then the next day is the day that I told you, that 24th day, the September 24th day is the 14th. It's 9/24 on the Hebrew calendar. And the prophecy goes on, from this day forward, I will bless you. Okay. So all I'm telling you is the prophecy stated very clearly hypnotic November. And then you also heard Carolyn speak, and she said specifically, you will have a great harvest. Understand, the way you determine harvest is actually called the mulberry bookend. They bookend the harvest. This is actual fact. And 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗹 had prophecies about the mulberry trees, okay, the mulberry bush. And so the harvest does not specifically end until the 10th maximum point of December. Okay, so all I'm saying is that we are still in fall. They fall in fall. We still haven't seen the hypnotic November prophecy, because all of it literally ties down, you know, to a single day, a 24-hour window where God strikes, and then they're going to freak out and try to kill what God just created. And there's your military. Remember, because they chased Israel to the Red Sea with everything they had.
You're saying millions of people will disappear. That's what you're saying.
That is this prophecy right here. Okay, that's Psalms 37, verse 10. It says, and again, I'm not making this up. God spoke this, and it's Psalms 37:10. It says, in a little while, the wicked will be no more. The wicked, the evil people, the Nephilim spirit will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. In other words, there's no bodies. Okay, they will not be found. No bodies, gone as in gone. But the meek, meaning those that, you know, when like everybody on our team, on your team, you know, right? Everything what you talk about, the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace. There it is, peace and prosperity. Okay, so your peace treaty will now take effect that Trump signed because God intervened, and then the prosperity is the wealth transfer that we've been waiting for. And remember, the globalists will never, ever, 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 and because the wicked plot against the righteous, but God knows he laughs at them because he knows their day is coming. So the globalists will never, ever allow silver to explode to $100, to $70. Okay, they'll never allow it because they want to keep us what, Nino? Poor and enslaved.
And slavery, right?
Yeah, and slavery. So it's an act of God that frees us and brings us peace and prosperity. It's in Psalms 37:10. Okay, and the only thing. This is, God actually spoke this, and it totally makes sense, okay? They're going to blame this on black holes,
on anything they can blame it on, and they're also going to blame it on aliens.
They're getting ready.
Yeah, and you've got this three-eye atlas thing going on. Like, what a coincidence! You know, it's all tying in with December as well too. So again, I'm just telling people the aliens are demonic spirits. It's a total lie. They're the Nephilim spirits.
Hey, there are brothers and sisters out there.
yeah. There are no aliens. It's all demons, and more demons, and all they have. And remember, the only thing the devil can do is deny God. He's always denied God, and he cannot admit there is a God. Because if he admits a God, like we said, if the devil admits that there's a God, then there's a devil. And if the Bible proves the devil's a forever loser, and he's all about pride and arrogance.
All right, let me get to some what the fuck news, and then we're gonna take some super chats. In what the fuck news, Taliban forced young boy to conduct an execution as 80,000 people watched in horror. Maybe I threw that part in there. They probably didn't watch it in horror. They're probably cheering in a stadium. The Taliban in Afghanistan have conducted another large-scale public execution before a stadium filled with tens of thousands of spectators. But this time they compelled a 13-year-old boy to execute the man accused of murdering more than a dozen of his relatives. Eye for an eye. The public killing took place at a stadium in the eastern city of Khost on Tuesday, December 2nd, with Afghanistan's Supreme Court claiming the condemned man had slain 13 members of the boy's family, including multiple children. Approximately 80,000 attendees, including family members of this is like a sporting event for them. This is like watching the Super Bowl, including multiple children. Approximately 80,000 attendees, including family members of the victims, witnessed the execution in the MetLife Stadium-sized venue, making the 11th such event since the Taliban took control following the departure of the U.S. and NATO forces win under Biden in 2021. The Supreme Court statement indicated the action followed a death sentence upheld by a trial court, an appeals court, and the nation's highest court. The final authorization from Afghanistan Supreme Leader it comes after Donald Trump's doctor issued a major health update after I don't know why they put that in there as MRI scan. According to their account, the victim's family was offered the option of forgiveness and retaliation, but refused and insisted on qisas, a Sharia law principle that roughly means an eye for an eye, folks. The man was fatally shot by a relative of the family. He was found guilty of murdering, according to Khost police spokesman. So there you got it. Oh, boy, I'm glad we live in America. Sometimes it's getting pretty bad. They probably want this in America. They probably want Sharia law in America. Let's go with some super chats. You ready for some super chats, Bo?
Sure.
Connie Poppy, 1438. Blessings from Florida Panhandle. Thank you so much. God bless you. Kelly Panetsky, you're back. Thank you. You're always here. 576. Super sticker. Thank you. Nancy Magyar, super sticker. Thank you so much. Stevie 6443. Isn't your dad's birthday? Yeah, my dad's birthday is coming in very soon, and he's doing very well. Not very well. He's obviously still in the hospital, but yeah, folks, the prayers. I got such high levels of PTSD. I don't sleep at night. I look at my phone every 30 seconds to see if the hospital calls. It's torture. I'm being tortured. You're looking at a man severely tortured right now. Next one. Annette Felix 8893 super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you. Kelly Panetsky's back. Super sticker. Thank you so much, Kelly. Justin Guluzian. Does anyone wonder if the 200 generals that asked Trump to run are the same 200 fallen angels? DJ, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can go into this too, but that's pretty. I don't know, man. Come on, stop making my brain hurt. DJ's T supporter, but always skeptical. Thanks, Nino and Alex. You got it. Next one. Mary Eyes of an Angel Champ. Did you open a box and get a letter from Grandma? And yes, I did actually. I've actually gotten a few letters from grandmas and gifts. God's perfect harvest. We love you. I still have a lot of boxes left to open in the garage. There's a lot, but I'm going to open them today. I'll open some and some more tomorrow. Mary Eyes of an Angel, Trump handed the keys to the military in 2017. All this is an illusion. God allows this war maneuver in the Bible. Gideon's Army 300. Beautiful. Thank you. I don't know what that says. I don't know. Hit the like for David, people. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Mary Eyes of an Angel, demons will manifest on the streets to try to stop God's grace and glory. God said, no, they will not win. I think they're manifesting from I think they punctured a hole into hell, and I think it's CERN. That's my opinion.
Yeah. What I'll say is, the great and the terrible day specifically is tied in with God stepping in, removing the Nephilim spirit. Now, this is not all evil. Like the Antichrist spirit's going to remain. You got the spirit of Jezebel. There's all other different spirits. Okay, but the worst spirit on the earth right now, this is prophecy, is specifically the Nephilim spirit. You know, so this goes back to the Great Flood. Okay, so God's going to remove all them, and then what happens is not all evil is removed. Okay, Robin Bullock even tied in with this a few years ago, and he says those that remain are going to go into hiding. Okay, so evil's removed, those that remain go into hiding, and then arise in the future. Like you and I have spoken. Okay, there's a time when they come back in the future, same plan, different color, flag, different, agenda, same agenda.
Yeah. So they're using the alien card. And I'm not saying that aliens don't exist. I think God is a great God, a massive God, but they're going to use the aliens to masquerade as the demons will use the alien card.
Actually, to further answer your question, God actually spoke through Carol on that topic. He says there are no aliens. That's
okay,
what God said.
How do I know? I've never been outer space. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and God created, and He made us in His perfect image, right? And so we are. All right. But that's again, it's not an argument. I'm just saying that was what I heard, and I don't know more than that. But you did do. I think Ellie Marzulli did a great job about how they have like these grays, and they're basically like these bodies, right? That they then occupy, and then they can move around. So, but they need they're disembodied.
They're laggard souls. They're disembodied.
Yeah. They're disembodied, so they need to occupy something, and on Earth they want to occupy people.
That's crazy. That makes sense to me. Mary Eyes of an Angel, the boomerang starts for real Purim 2026, March 2nd, 2026 to March 3rd. Take back our USA like in the Bible, Book of Esther. Beautiful, Mary Eyes of an Angel. Thank you. Killer Fuzz Outdoors, boom for all our Mets. For all our Mets. Okay. 𝗵𝗶𝗋𝗶𝗶 6235. Nino, prayers for your dad and mom. I am also a Nino's Corner member. Then you're ahead of the ball, man. And I will toot my own horn on that. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you for the prayers. Mary Eyes of an Angel, how come no one in media asking Trump presser, how are the rescued children? Oh boy, that's a whole segment in itself. You're right. But folks, I'm out of here. I got to jump on another podcast. Bo, thank you. Let's do another show, because it's going to get crazy the next few days going into the new year. I just know the stuff's getting ready to pop off. So Thank you both for joining me. Alex, you there?
Hey,
we have another great podcast in about 10 minutes. You got to be in charge of this one. So
yes,
Alex and I are rolling into John Pounders, and who's the other one?
And
Jamie Weldon. Right. Yeah. About the symbology starting to pop up all around Washington, D.C. And we have a lot of questions on this. So going to be very interesting. There's arcs being formed, everything being built. Going to be a very interesting podcast. This will go on YouTube. We're going to roll into it right after this. Folks, get to ninoscorner.tv, 50% off annuals right now. And I'm doing it for Christmas, baby. Yeah. All right, folks, we're out of here. Thank you both. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
I'll start right now, Alex.
Thank you.
We're out of here, folks. And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the black sheep of broadcasting.